mystery and horror, the air itself is filled with monsters.
Children of the night, what music they make. He's alive! He's alive!
Well, hello, all you monster fiends, and thank you for joining us for another deep dive, factoid-filled episode exploring Hollywood's most famous monsters. I am your master of ceremonies, or mistress of ceremonies, as somebody called me the other day. Sam. It's better, sounds better, doesn't it? Mistress.
Saucy.
Yeah. And I am joined, as always, by Dan from Bleeding Marvelous. Say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan. Oh, Dan's all poorly sick.
I'm all right. You can roll a turd in glitter. This is what you get, you know. I have the plague, not the plague, but a plague, not that plague.
Not that plague. We're not quite there yet.
No.
I got a bit of a shock. I was like, where are we? What year is it?
It's the 1600s of it all.
And I've got the plague. But what we do, or what we are doing, is celebrating Halloween. Happy Halloween. Yay.
This is my Christmas.
It is my wedding anniversary. But with the day before, so happy Halloween for tomorrow.
Yeah, happy anniversary for tomorrow.
Thank you. So today's Halloween special is probably one of the greatest anthology horror movies that has ever been done. Ever. It's Trick or Treat. We could even do it Trick or Treat.
Trick or treat, smell my feet. Give
me something good
to
to eat. That's about as far as I know. I think that's as far as it's all gone.
There's probably 42 other verses, but you know.
Right. I got the disclaimer out the way with, and then we'll get into. It's not so much Trick or Treat as it is the monster is Sam or Halloween itself.
Yeah. Depending on how you look at it.
You could argue that fact, but again, my goodness.
The spirit of Halloween has got into you already.
Jesus. I keep looking about. There's no like kid with a bullet. Oh my God, he's there. That's my contribution, is the little Sam right there. It doesn't beat Dan's immaculate, like amazing tribute to Sam in the background. Mine's just the little tiny guy in the corner for anyone who's watching on YouTube. Right, let's try this again.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Thank you so much. Everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Discord page, the comment section, or the Facebook page, and we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom, so let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behavior out of nerdism. Thank you. I had a rush of Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill towards the end of that. I felt that happening.
You felt theatrical, did you?
I did, and which is a shocker. That's my life, just the theatre. Right, darling. Trick or Treat. Oh, darling, we're going Trick or Treat, 2007's anthology horror, directed, wrote, and created by Michael Dougherty. Scoring. Oh my God. I've actually said scoring in oppressive and left it. It's actually 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a cast including Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, Quinn Lord, and Dylan Baker. If you follow the rules of Halloween, you will get to see tomorrow as we bring you Trick or Treat.
Yay.
Or obey the rules of Halloween and you're good to go. I've actually just copyrighted that from someone else's YouTube channel. Whoopsies. I always remember it's oh God, Hello Horror. And she always used to start, she doesn't do it anymore, but she used to start her videos with obey the rules of Halloween and you're good to go. And I always have it stuck in my head. Good channel. Anyways, Trick or Treat, 2007. We're going back to 2007. This is the year that me and my husband got together.
I was 27. In 2007?
I was 22. I was 22. That's how old I was when I was 22 because I was 23 when 22 23.
2007. Well, I do know that they struggled massively getting this released.
Yes.
And it was completed and ready to go for distribution in 2007. But if I'm right, it didn't get a cinema release at all. And it went straight to DVD in 2009.
Yeah.
How? With the stars, the caliber of the people that's in the movie, whilst I know they're all technically borrowed from X-Men, because
Anna Paquin,
Brian Cox, and James Marsden does a voiceover.
He does.
Yes. And then obviously there is another one in there somewhere.
I can't.
Brian Singer. Brian Singer.
Is he the good one or the bad one?
Bad one, I think.
Bad one. Oh, okay. So the film is based on Michael Dougherty's short film, Season Greetings, which came out in 1990. Did you? Is it good?
Yes. It's on YouTube and it is 3.5 minutes long.
Oh my God. I did not know that because it's Sam's debut. And does he look like the little guy? No, he does not. Does he not? No. Oh.
Kind of, but not. It is everything that you know of Sam, but it's not Sam. But it is Sam, and it's like he came up with this idea just out of the blue. Like he wanted to give Halloween a face because he said Christmas had one, the Easter Bunny has one, and Halloween didn't. It had just a culmination of witches or vampires or werewolves or blah blah blah.
It's a very mixed bag, isn't it? So I like that. Burlesque sap with a big candy cane fucking half pumpkin that can rip your bastard throat out. He's like the cutest thing ever until he takes that fucking thing off, until he takes the burlesque sack off and like, shit.
I can hear you.
Fuck me. I've actually seen the one that's closest to the screen in real life, and my good God, it is fucking amazing.
These will be for this. We do have these for sale at shows, but these will be for sale for the love of horror. So
if you're there, like me, I'm coming on Sunday, so there best be something selling. I'm telling you now. I am telling you now.
There's going to be a lot of stuff come then, but obviously we're technically not in the country right now, but I'm magically here by the power of technology.
I was trying to think. I was trying to think of something really witty, and I just can't, because what's in my head right now is telling you all about the kill count, because I watched
Dead Meat.
Yes,
yay!
I watched it, and holy shit, that was didn't have to watch the movie.
Yep,
because I couldn't find a link, so I was getting myself really upset because my telly in the living room shite, and at the moment I can't go in the bedroom to watch it because I've got kittens to look after, and I was like shit, and then I put it on and it played it out, and that really jogged my memory, because I have seen this movie probably more times than I care to count.
It's my Halloween movie. It's like I go to straight away, trick or treat.
Well, anthology horror is one of my favorite set of my horror genre. I absolutely adore it. This and found footage horror, obviously slasher, everyone loves a fucking slasher, but found footage horror and anthology horror is like where I just fucking adore it. And sadly, my husband has not seen this one. I know. I said you would find it so much fun. The comic book aspect of it, the cinematography of it is beautiful. The cast, because we like an anthology that can interlink. Yeah. Because it does, yeah. And we find that so clever. I'm saying we're one person. We're really not. But we do when we're watching anthology, like VHS has it to a certain degree. But the likes of the Twilight Zone and what's the other one? Creep Show. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of don't. So it's nice that this is all kind of links together. I do have each sequence because it is it is anthology, so it all has its own individual story. Yeah. So you've got the opening with Leslie Bibb.
Yep.
Being a bitch.
Who has coincidentally been in a relationship with Sam Rockwell for about 16 years.
Yeah.
And I found that out recently, and I was like...
Did you know that? He thanks her when he wins his Oscar. He just goes, Leslie, you're my girl, and just walks away.
I love Sam Rockwell. There is something about him. I would take him home and keep him in a jar. Yeah. He looks tiny, but like I still want to be like, I don't know. He's like, if you know, when you have a list of people that you'd like to meet.
Yeah,
he is like, he's in my top 3, 100%. So I was really surprised because she looks really tall. So
she does, but I think he's quite deceiving. I think he's maybe. I think he's a 5'9" guy because 5'9" guys, because I'm 5'9", 5'9" guys kind of look small, but are actually really not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally forgot. We're getting in. I'm going way ahead of myself. The kill count, 27. Yes, she got it right. Oh, she was paying attention. Still doesn't beat our guy Claude Rains. Oh, he's up there. But impressive nonetheless.
They weren't all done by Sam, but they kind of were.
No.
But they kind of were, because if you look at the list of Sam's powers that Sam has, they think that through every single one of these different powers that Sam possesses, he caused the action of the kills. Well, it makes sense to take place.
He's there, isn't he? He's there he's there in everyone. Actually, we should really explain Sam.
Yes.
Before we start. I hate that name. Before we start getting into the nitty-gritty of the film and things that we've learned about it, let's explain Sam. Let's go and have a conversation about good old Samhain, because that's where his name comes from, is the pagan festival. I should know
Samhain,
this. Of Samhain, yes, which is Samhain, and it's all to do with Halloween.
And us weird druid, pagan weirdos over here technically invented it. So, haha, America.
Well done us. Well done us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you just fancy going?
I think I nearly did. I think I might have done that under the table. I'm not entirely sure. I probably did.
And
no apologies, I meant
none whatsoever. we get this one. We get this one. But he has the spirit of Halloween running through him. And he wants nothing more than Halloween just to go like it should. And if it doesn't, he's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, he is.
Massively going, like, this is not a child's film, by the way. He may look, I keep looking, he's there too. He may look very childlike with his little burlesque and his little Laura suit. He looks so fucking cute, but he is fucking deadly. What he does to Leslie Bibb, it's fucking horrifying.
Savage little sod. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why we say follow the rules of Halloween, because if you don't, you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get jacked up by a kid in a lollipop.
Sam has 7 rules. 7 rules.
Yes.
Always hand out candies to trick-or-treaters. Always wear a costume. Never blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight. Always respect the dead. Always check your candy. Never take down your decorations before November the 1st, and never hurt the innocent. That's Sam's 7 rules.
And every single one of them is broken throughout this whole movie.
And that's why Sam comes for you.
But he is a man of his word, or a child of his word, because when it comes to the innocent, he does leave them alone.
Yes.
And he also allows the dead to get their comeuppance as well. Or they're dead to have their vengeance, I should say.
They say that's one of his abilities, necromancy.
Oh.
So, apparently they said that, let me see where it is, on my notes. He has the ability to summon the dead, to do his bidding and kill others.
Well, that is great, and we will get into that when we talk about Brian Cox's character, because that is very interesting.
Yes.
So, going back to the movie, we have the opening.
Yes.
So the opening starts with Leslie Bibb being a bitch, like I said earlier. And
Rumpatron 10,000.
isn't she just the grumpy old bitch?
Yeah.
Her husband is like, he is the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah, I met Tamu Penike.
What a name!
It's Native American. He actually did a talk. I did Rogue Events going back, not as a show, but as a personal thing. And I got to meet the cast of Supernatural way before it got out of hand like it is now. And he was doing a talk about like how he's Native American, his mum was, and all of his roots and everything. And I met him afterwards. And I have to say, he's one of the nicest people. Like everybody he met, he was like a sponge. He wanted to know. He was asking you questions. And it was like very rare, like to be in a situation where you're actually being asked questions by a famous person. It always seems to be the other way around.
You're in your head, you're thinking, we want to ask you questions. But in actual fact, he just wants to get to know the people who are coming to see him. And I think that is so sweet. Oh, what a name. I love that name.
I've probably butchered it massively, so I do apologise.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. Sounds fantastic in my ears. But yeah, he is just such a lovely guy. And, she wants to take, like, the guy on Dead Meat really put this into perspective. She wants to take them decorations down at the end of the night. They have just been to a party. Like, irregardless, the fact that it's still Halloween. Let's forget that fact.
Yes.
How much fucking decorations does she have up and then wants to take it down when she gets back off a night out? Even the guy on Dead Meat was like, is she fucking insane?
Well, why would she tell him to go put on the sex tape while she was putting... No, full well, that'd take her 2 hours to clean that front, at least. So it's like, you've only said that to get him out of your hair because you don't want him moaning at you, haven't you?
And your logic is ridiculous. Like, leave it. Like, I know my OCD is bad, and there's some things that I can't leave before I go to bed. I understand that. But I am not, on Christmas Day, going to come home and take my fucking Christmas tree down. Like, it can wait until the next day. Yeah, my tree does come down on Boxing Day, but it can wait until the next day.
Yeah.
I am fine with that. It doesn't have to be.
If I had expensive decorations outside that I was worried that would get nicked, they would come down, and that is the only reason. And I would explain that to Sam, and hopefully Sam would appreciate that fact.
Yes, like, I don't want these to be stolen. I just wouldn't put them up in the fucking first place outside my house. I'm terrified to even have a flower wreath on my fucking door that my sister-in-law made us. I have 2 doors. I have a front door and a porch door. It's on my porch door because you fuckers, you're not having it. You are not having it. It was beautiful. She made me this black and grey, and it's absolutely stunning. And no, they're not fucking having it. Yeah, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't put them up outside to start with. But Sam, I feel like that's reasonable to say I want to take them down because I don't want any harm to do. But Leslie didn't. She just wanted to take them down because she's a grumpy old bitch.
Yeah, basically.
Do we see Leslie's death there and then?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. You see her pulling the sheets down, and then there's the Jabberwocky across the road giving her the dead stare, and she gets freaked out because she thinks he's gonna come and get her, but he's like the red herring, and off he goes. And then she pulls the sheet up, and you do a little bit of cut to the husband watching the porno in the bedroom asleep, and then it cuts back to a big sheet, and then Sam's under the sheet with...
But we don't see Sam because we don't know it's Sam until later.
Yeah.
And then he comes down and finds her because the opening before the comic book strip comes up, it's her head in the thingy. Yeah, so we do see her. Yeah. So we know that she's dead. And then you get this amazing sequence comic book style because at the time, a comic book had actually been, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like set up, or it was set up. I don't think it ever happened, but that was the idea, that this comic book was going to be like run alongside the movie, and I don't know if it ever happened. That nobody had any definite like this is what it's called issue thingy, but no, there was no, not that I could find anywhere.
I was gonna say I saw a lot of talk about it, but I didn't see far enough to whether they did go through with it or not. But
that was the idea, was because if you don't notice, there's a lot of horror references that run throughout this. And also the guy is a huge comic book fan as well. Hence the reason. But that's why the comic book strip is there in the first place. It's not trying to be... it is trying to be clever because it was going to run alongside a comic book that was going to come out, but this movie, in their eyes, didn't gravitate to where they were expecting it to be, which is so fucking unfortunate, because if we are in the 2023, we're all fucking loving it and expecting a second one to come out very soon.
Oh, well, they've been talking about a sequel since they made the first one. And even if you ask Michael now, he says the same thing. Got it, ready to go, just need to do some tweaks. So I don't know whether it's him. I don't know whether they're not picking it up at the there's nobody to produce it. But I did hear that it was Michael had originally gone to Stan Winston to produce this movie, and Stan had wanted to take it in a direction where he wanted it to be like a typical anthology where none of it interlinks. Yeah. So it's like, like Creepshow did. So I'm fine with that. But Stan Winston was going to direct one episode. Toby Hooper was going to do one. George Romero was going to do one, and John Carpenter was going to do one. They all came on board for Trick or Treat with those 4 guys to do each one of the. Yeah, but Michael didn't like the idea of it not tying in, like being a full circle, and Stan wasn't interested in tying it up that way. And so Michael went to Bryan Singer, who he'd obviously worked with on X-Men 2, and said, "Look, help me. I want to do this. Humor me, please." And Bryan went, "Okie dokie. Off you go." And that's where he had all the connections with all the X-Men cast, the comic books, and
makes a lot of sense. Well, the next one is I fucking love this so much. So you've got the principal, and you've got his son, who's a little dick, but he's class at the same time. His neighbor,
they based on Chucky. They based his look on Chucky. I thought that was really clever.
There is, like I said, there's so many references throughout this film, and I actually have a list of just even some of them. It's not even all of them, but there is a lot of references. The big main one is Brian Cox, who is their neighbour, who keeps shouting at him because he's a grumpy old bastard. And we'll get into Brian's story in a bit, but Brian's look is John Carpenter.
Yeah. Because of the word Halloween.
Fucking loved it. And the thing, because the thing is referenced in here as well. I fucking loved and when I knew what I could see properly, I was like, oh, that's amazing. So yeah, Brian Cox is their neighbor, grumpy old bastard. That's what we think. But this principal is just the fucking best.
He's a nerd by day.
Yep. Fucking serial killer by night.
Pretty much, yeah. And anyone's fair game. He does not discriminate.
He does not. But he this horrible little shit of a kid is kicking pumpkins. And he gives him some, it's Halloween. He gives him some candy.
And
what did he not do? He didn't check his candy.
What? The little shit bag.
And he fucking died.
God knows what was in it, but that was one of the urban legends to do with Halloween, wasn't it? That you'd have razor blades and poison.
But it actually happened. I think there's a couple of cases in America where candy. Oh my God, I'm not American. Sweets, chocolate had been tampered with by some really grumpy parents. But they used to in America. You can correct us. You can come for us. This is just what I've heard on podcasts and anything to do with true crime related. They had centers set up where parents could take the bag of sweets and have them checked over to make sure that, there was nothing foreign. Yeah, nothing foreign sitting in there, no razor blades or anything like that. How you test for poison, I don't know. But I think you've got to be a fucking level, like a really level of cleverness to be able to do
Seems
something
a bit redundant,
like that.
Doesn't it? Let's be honest, wasting that time.
It does, but he kills this kid, which is fucking glorious. And he's burying him along with whoever the hell that is. It's because there was another guy in there. And all while this is going on, his kid is shouting. I can't stop laughing at this because it cracks us up. The kid is shouting at his dad. And you can see him getting more and more agitated and the kid getting more and more annoyed. And then it cuts to a scene of swing. And you really think, and I really thought, he was going to kill his kid.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
No.
And he didn't.
No. Father and son activities.
Yes. Was it with the head?
It was the head of the kid that was puking up not so long before. I know they had some issues with censors on that whole scene at the beginning because Brian and Michael liked the idea of showing him, Principal Wilkins, struggle getting the kid in because the kid isn't exactly athletically built.
He was a healthy child.
He liked the candy that was in the bag, and each their own. I'm not here to shame, but lad had a good appetite, shall we say, and they wanted to show him struggling bringing him in because there was going to be like this whole slapstick moment, and the censors were like, it's a kid, no,
it's physical comedy. I thought they were only weird with children if it's face on. So example, Walking Dead, the first episode of The Walking Dead with the little girl and Rick shoots her in the face, and they do the same with Sophia as well. You'll notice that you can't actually see Sophia get face forward shot. You have to either see it from the side or not see it at all.
Right.
And it be an aftermath. That's what they can't show, is the kid actually getting shot.
Right.
Face forward. And I always thought that was the case. So, but he's just got a sack.
Yeah.
Or would it be a headless kid?
It'd be a headless kid in the sack, but that's why you never see him cut his head off. You just see him like he's in, the kid's got like vomit all over his shoulder, which technically isn't, because the vomit that he was throwing up was actually chocolate syrup, because I saw the behind the scenes info about it, and the young lad, I've never seen anything like this, but I know this is how they do it. But the tube that they had going up the lad's back, up his back and into his mouth ear, was all round this side, and obviously they did all the shooting from this side.
From the side, yeah.
And the tube in itself was like this. It was huge. This lad, just to bring out the amount that they needed.
Because it was quite a volume of sick.
That was a lot, and apparently they were eating it.
Kid.
They were all eating it.
You dirty bastards!
It was made from like a thick chocolate syrup, but the lad kept saying it had this really weird gritty texture that made him feel quite like he didn't like the sensation, not so much the taste. He said the taste was okay, but the sensation of it being all gritty, because it has obviously gone from being hot to cold and got all. It was like, no, I struggled with that towards the end, and I thought, oh, God, I bet you did.
I'm not fucking surprised. I just generally love that scene. The principal, I should hate him. Obviously, with one of the other scenes, I should really, really hate him, but I just don't. There's just something about him that's like intriguing.
He actually, though, he is the only one that actively respects Sam's wishes and vocalizes Sam's wishes, because he says, should have checked your candy. Yes. And he also says something about like blowing out the jack-o'-lanterns.
Well, he was destroying
respecting
them.
The dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's the only one that doesn't get killed by the hands of Sam.
No, he does not.
It's when he offers, all those kids come up that are in the next story looking for a jack-o'-lantern for charity. And then as he lets them have it and they run away, Sam is standing behind them. And he goes, he has his like box of candy and he shakes it at him and went, did you not get one? And he offered Sam some candy. So Sam took it and he went, and because he was really chuffed, because he was like watching and
just skips off. He just skips off. Off he trots. He just skips off. All the sweets in this was all, they couldn't get any that was licensed candy. So they had to make up their own, which I think is cool, because if you buy any of the Trick or Treat or Sam's merchandise, a lot comes with I can't remember what the candy is called, but
gross, that's what it's called.
Yeah, so it's all being made up for this one. Now the next one, Halloween School Bus Massacre, was not my favorite, is not my favorite story. However, I love the tie-in with another character.
Yeah.
Which I don't. I'm going to have a build up to this. I'm going to try and do. Yeah. So this one is the kids finding the wanting the pumpkins for charity.
Yeah, I know. I'll be like, what? Yeah.
Why? Don't fucking buy your own. Stop trying to steal mine. And they, God, you're gonna have to remind us because I do kind of zone out on this bit. They go to a mining shaft where a bus was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, help me out here.
They go to an old mine shaft quarry place, and it's the 3 kids, and they've got a young lady with difficulties or special needs. I'm not really entirely sure what the PC way of saying it is these days, because I'm sure I've got it wrong, but she has learning difficulties, so they bring her along with them.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a little red wagon, and she pulls pumpkins in her wagon that are lit with her, and her name's Rhonda, I think. I want to say Rhonda. And basically when they get to the quarry, one of the girls from the group of 4 that have asked her to come along tells the story about the massacre. So they then go on and say about like she tells the story about how there was a school bus. They don't give a specific time, and according to the costume designer lady that was on this, she said all she was told was it has to be timeless yet give off the impression that it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why all the costumes are very rudimentary.
Yeah, they're a bit dull.
Yeah,
let's be honest,
because they wanted to show that it wasn't now, so that they weren't like super duper ones. They were sort of homemade / store-bought crappy ones, basically. And I don't know if you noticed, and you probably have done because you probably got it in your notes, but when they do the flashback, the school bus comes up, and Christine, the car, the Plymouth Fury, is in the shot.
I did have that in my notes. That's your Stephen King reference.
There's more than one. And they drive the bus, basically. The driver gets paid to drive this bus of kids with learning difficulties off the cliff. And he parks up the bus, and he goes and gives all the kids some candy to try and calm them down. But they've all been strapped into the seats with chains. And the young lad that's the Dracula freaks out, manages to get his shackles off, and tries to move the bus to go home. But he doesn't know how to drive, and he ends up driving them off the cliff into the quarry. And that's where the bus sinks, and only the bus driver came out of the water at the end. So that's the recap on that. But then when she's telling the story to Rhonda and the other guys, she then says, right, we're going to take these 8 pumpkins down into the quarry as not a sacrifice, but like an offering to the ghost children of the bus crash. And therein lies what happens next. So
yes. Which I can't remember.
I'll keep going then.
Please do. I honestly, I do zone out on this one. This is what, if Dead Meat hadn't have explained it and the ending, I was, but that kind of intrigued us a bit more. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have like paid attention.
But they go down anyway to the bottom to give the offerings out, and the main bully girl, is sort of hyping up the situation, and she's going, ooh, oh, like bringing the tension level up. Because the three of them go down first, and then it's Rhonda and the pirate boy go down second. Now, she acts really brave because she hears screaming and stuff. So she says to him when she shuts him back into the lift, you stay here and don't let the lights go out. They'll keep you safe in the pumpkins. She knows.
She knows.
And so the kid doesn't, obviously, because what kids ever listen to anybody? And they play a really bad trick on her where they dress up like the ghoul children.
Yes, that's right. They're big dickheads, aren't they?
It's awful. And then she falls back, smashes her head, comes round, sees them, starts screaming and running away. And as she's running away, the boy gets a conscience, and he's like, no, this is really bad. We've really upset her. And I was like, oh, what? You think that now? After you've just traumatized this kid? You fucking wankers.
dick.
And I can say that because I don't care. They're fucking wankers.
I ain't no one's parent.
No, same here. She's absolutely devastated, this poor girl. And so he says, pack it in now, we're going home. So they all give in begrudgingly. And as the main bully girl kicks the last lantern into the lake, all of a sudden they start hearing like laughing and voices and weird shit, and they all think it's each other playing tricks on each other. And so Rhonda gets freaked out and she runs back and gets into the lift, locks herself in the lift. And as the others are trying to run to the lift, obviously they're slowly getting picked off one by one. And then they're banging on the lift, asking her to put her back in. And she thinks that they're playing another trick on her. So she just presses the up button and leaves them there. Off she fucks.
Fuckers.
Yeah, pretty much. Off she fucks to the top. And they're left to their demise. As she gets out, Sam's there watching her. And she grabs a little red wagon, looks at him. He nods at her, and then off she trots. So she passed his test.
I don't know. I wish now, knowing what I know now, because the ending sometimes didn't make quite sense to us. However, it is fucking brilliant. Mm-hmm. So I am sorry that I really rolled my eyes a lot when I was watching the Halloween School Bus Massacre. I should have been paying more attention to it because it's brilliant, and we will get to the big reveal. Surprise Party is next, and I do fucking really like this one too.
Yes, because the little sod that is Quinn Lord actually got his actual cameo as himself /
Yes, he's the little kid in the costume shop.
He's the peekaboo bastard. That's who he is.
Yes. The little kid who played Quinn Lord, who probably is no little kid now, who played Quinn Lord, who played Sam, is Quinn Lord. And he has his own little cameo in this bit, but this is Anna Paquin's performance.
Mm-hmm. If you call it that.
It's just, the guy was like, on Dead Meat, he was just, what did he say about her?
She's Suki. That's what he kept saying.
Yeah, she should be powerful. She's Suki. Yeah, so this is the one that is meant to be a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really paying attention, you can see it all before it happens.
100%.
Yeah,
clues are all there.
All there, but it is a big shocker when you're watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
As we see these girls going through what probably is just a very atypical scene at Halloween with girls of that age, wanting to get dressed up, going out and about. And
why does everything gotta be slutty though?
Yeah, it was slutty red riding.
I understand from their point of view because it makes sense for the end game.
Yeah.
But like, no one needs a sexy Slimer.
Sexy Slimer. Do you know what though? Them girls are good fun.
They are. Like, you can tell they're not really bothered. They're just doing it to get to what they need. It's for the purpose of the end game.
And they have a party where each one has a date.
Yes.
And it's not actually a party, it's a gathering of 9 girls and 9 guys.
Yes.
And the only person who doesn't have a date is Anna Paquin, because this is her first time. Ugh.
That narrative at the time when I first watched it, I kept thinking, ooh.
Yeah.
Why? What?
Like, I don't want to see this. I know what's coming next. I saw
very
really fucking True Blood.
We've all seen her boobs. We don't need to see them again.
No, it's all good. But it was completely the opposite. It's everything we wanted her to do in True Blood, in actual fact. So she finds a date, which just so happens to be a masked serial killer.
Yes.
Who, again, just so happens to be the fucking principal.
Principal Wilkins, you sly dog.
He looks fucking cool in that mask. Now that's Phantom of the Opera mask. Not Claude Rains bullshit. That's That was a mask.
Yeah, I mean, whoever made that, hats off. That was a really intricate piece of work as well, all in the leather.
It looked beautiful. So it is the principal who turns out to be the masked serial killer who bites her. He has fangs, which I think that's obviously to throw you off the scent.
Yeah.
So yes, he has these fangs and he bites Anna Paquin, who then in turn bites him back.
That's called consequences. That's what that's called. Yeah.
These are the consequences of your actions. consequence. Oh god, I've got TikTok videos going at me right now.
Oh no!
Have you not seen it?
Oh no! Oh no! I've been poisoned by social media.
I hate you, TikTok, but I love TikTok. Anna Paquin bites him back because all these girls are werewolves. And when she's referring to her first time, this is her first kill.
Yes.
And the transformation of these werewolves is fantastic.
I really like it.
I really like it.
I think I watched it behind the scenes, as I said earlier, and they were showing how they made there's a wolf once they're fully transformed that is supposed to be her sister Danielle. Great name, by the way. But she's next.
Oh my god, we're both featured in this film.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? But I'm more like Sam because I'm 2'4". And I've probably got one of those orange suits somewhere. I just sit around.
I want one.
It hasn't got butt flap though.
My unicorn one does.
I'm not. I shall ask no further questions. But yeah, they're showing
on here.
Don't worry, I'm not going to berate you like I'm sure the boys do, but each to their own. But yeah, there's this bit where they got what's supposed to be Danielle peeking over her shoulder, watching her do her first kill.
That's her sister, isn't it?
They showed how they made up the actress. They basically glued her into this wolf suit. And the only bit that you can actually see of her face, which you can't see on screen, is here, because the head is placed so that the mouth is here and the snout is here. So she's got her head right down.
Nice.
When they're filming that bit. And this was all animatronics. So it was the only way that they could have all the servos and everything working in the head to get that blinking and getting the head movement. They wanted it to still be very fluid. So that's why they used an actual person from that down, but they couldn't get the nuances in the face right unless they used animatronics for that bit. So
I love that idea. I love the fact that they didn't go too clever with it and try and fuck it up, because they could have done CGI transfer. They could have started with who did Landis's Rick Baker. Rick Baker's transformation, which is, it's iconic, and it's the starting point and the guideline to the transformation. But they didn't need to do that. And if they had, it would have ruined that scene. Doing it with the animatronics, doing it with the actual people worked perfectly. The lowering down to lift back up and you've got your werewolf. That is more than enough. There's not enough time in that scene to do something so clever that you could mess it up.
But I've always had this very question that in this universe of Trick or Treat Land, they actually answered for me, because I've always said, is the hair underneath the skin, and do they shed their skin, or does their skin just melt away when they change? I've always had questions about werewolves. Like, I've always been curious. I know, let's be honest, I know they're not real. But in a hypothetical land of Trick or Treat world, they are. So I've always wondered, but it was the way they just peeled it off like silicone. And I know some people have an issue with it because they're like, oh, that looks really cheap. You can tell that's silicone. Yeah, you can. But if you're pretending to be, if you're something in something else's skin, when you peel it off.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does to me anyway.
Yeah.
But I should question werewolves more. But I don't, because Larry showed me perfectly how he transforms back. So
it just grew a beard. It's fine.
Exactly. Jack Pierce just came on and went,
"Where's my glue gun? Where's my glue gun?"
It's a spectacular scene. It is. I thoroughly enjoy that story, even though Like the catty girl in us is like, no, don't like that. Too bright. But no, I really do love that scene.
I did find out though in that scene, you know, her sister's trying to set her up with the big baby guy that's in the Halloween party. That guy is actually the same guy who played the big baby in 13 Ghosts.
Yes, that is on my reference.
Yeah, and I was like, I see what you did there, Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers has the right to both. I was like, I don't remember what came first because my brain's not, I don't remember what year.
Oh, I didn't write dates down either.
13 Ghosts come out. But that is clever. If 13 Ghosts come out first and he's there, that's clever. But if this come out first and then they thought, oh, we know the perfect guy to cast for 13 Ghosts, that's really clever as well. So
it's just
I thought that was fantastic.
It is. It's absolutely brilliant. He was on my reference list. The next one, actually, fun fact, Anna Paquin's character is a homage to Laurie Strode. Her name is Laurie, and it was a nod to Halloween and Laurie.
And Danielle was a nod to Danielle Harris.
Yes,
as well.
Who was also in Halloween. So yes, you have your Halloween reference in there. The next one is Sam. This is
little dude,
the little guy. Yes, this is now. Oh, memory shocking, but this is the Brian Cox moment, isn't it? This is him in Brian Cox's house. It's not the conclusion.
No, I mean, to be fair, it literally finishes with Sam sitting on a log watching Anna Paquin eat the principal.
Yeah, I should have said Sam's there. He's watching it all. He's
just taking it in, just watching.
He's just sitting there, he's just calm as a cucumber, or cool as a cucumber, and just, or even calm as a cucumber. Cucumbers are calm.
Because he wasn't innocent, even though Principal Wilkins followed the rules. He still technically,
he was a bad guy, and
he killed the woman basically, and she was an innocent.
Yeah.
At the Mardi Gras thing, so he had to go. And then I don't know why, but it just quickly cuts. There's no tie-in in between that and then the next story.
No, because I generally can't remember how he ends up at Brian Cox's house.
Well, there's it's the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, and he doesn't have. That's right, and he doesn't have anything. But he does, and he just won't give it because Sam goes into the house to go and fucking retrieve it.
Because he sets his little dog in a spider costume or a skeleton costume with light up eyes. He sets the little dog on all these trick-or-treaters. So
horrible man, by the way. Not the nicest.
No.
So yeah, Sam actually kicks 7 shades of shit out of him. But this is the moment where you get to see the reveal of underneath the burlap sack.
That's the one.
Christ. And you get to see Sam's real face, which is a pumpkin.
Yeah.
A very scary pumpkin. Which why would it not be?
Well, it wouldn't be a turnip. I mean, okay, I'll give the Americans that. I mean, we might have invented technically Halloween, and we
did not come
turnips.
We did not come up with. Yes, I will. Granted, yes, we were soaking up the fact that we came up with Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, but we did not come up with Halloween. Like, no, because as kids, we had turnips instead of pumpkins. It's only been in the last few years, and this is no fucking joke, Americans. It's only been in the last few years that pumpkins has been a thing here, because we had turnips.
Yeah, which were like trying to carve wood with a spoon. Let's be honest.
But God bless our parents for fucking doing it and attaching that string to the top, and it just, oh my God, it was so fucking dangerous. Like, that was a fire hazard waiting to happen, because it just it was so heavy. And if we wanted a witch's costume, fucking mother got the bin bags out, to the pound shop, because we have I think you call it like the dollar store. We have a pound shop.
Fake
fingernails.
The witch's fingers.
The plastic fingers that used to sit, and it was green with red thing. I fucking loved them. That's when I knew
they came in the pack with the really bad vampire teeth.
Yeah. Or the really shit face paint that you really like. It was a white, a red, a yellow, and a blue. Like, I'm not going as a fucking clown. Like, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the bin bag. Fucking the bin bag.
It was always a bin bag, no matter what. It
Oh
doesn't
my
matter.
God.
I went as Frankenstein one year. I dressed up as Frankenstein. Still ended up somehow in a bin bag. Don't know how that was possible.
The black plastic hat with the green hair attached. Can you remember that?
They were wafer thin. They were like this. They were, I don't.
Whose fucking hair was that, man? Yeah, but it was like a placa hat.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh, that was throughout the United Kingdom. Like, there is some differences when it comes down to the United Kingdom because we have very different accents, but we will never not have grown up with them Halloween. No. A fucking bin bag was used for everything. Bin bag for a sledge. I've got a massive hill around the back of mine, and we used to go at the bin bags and just fucking strap ourselves in and go down.
Well, just in case you don't know, a bin bag's a garbage bag. I mean, I think it's quite obvious, but just in case.
I generally don't know what our American to English ratio is of listening, but I'm just trying to cover all grounds here because I don't want someone to go, what's that?
Come again?
Yeah. So everyone in the UK would have had that type of Halloween if you grew up when me and Dan were growing up.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, many moons ago. It's great looking at all the nostalgia pages on TikTok, and it's like, can you remember these? And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to.
I'm already rolling that bloody date back too far when I'm having to put in my date of birth on things now. So
behave. I noticed the other day I'm going way back. I'm like, this is getting out of hand now, and I have ticked a new fucking box.
The 35 to 40 something in.
35 to 45. Like, why couldn't you just do it in tens? Like 20 to 30, 30 to 40. I don't understand.
They want you to feel bad about aging.
I don't understand the 5. Yeah, so I've ticked in. I'm going up a box. So yes, Sam kicks 7 shades of shit out of, but he doesn't kill him.
No, because he wants him to learn a lesson.
Yes, this is like Sam's. He's not an unreasonable person. I don't think there's any talking no Leslie Bibb from being a miserable bitch. So I get that. But yes, he thinks he's got a redeeming quality in him. And he thinks there's something, you can learn a lesson from this.
I think there's the whole thing. There's the whole thing with when they're having the fight, you find out how supernatural Sam is in this moment, because Sam is climbing the walls. He climbs across the ceiling and jumps on him.
It's fucking great watching it.
He gets shot twice once to the body and once to the face, I think, or twice in the face.
I can't remember if it touched his face, but I do remember him getting shot in the body.
There's definitely pumpkin goo everywhere.
Oh, that's right, the seeds.
Yeah, and then I can't remember how, but somehow his hand comes off. I can't remember if it gets cut off or shot off, but his hand gets caught off, and that is when they do the hark back to Mr. Carpenter.
Yeah.
And they say the famous quote, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." When the spider head falls off and starts crawling off, and the 2 guys turn around, take one look at that, and that's the line that they come out with. And Brian Cox actually asked him if he could play the part as John Carpenter, because he'd met him a few years back, and he said, every time people bring up Halloween, they think Michael Myers. He said, I think John Carpenter, so I want to look like John Carpenter. So he proper nodded all the way through. I think it was really clever. Really, I think
it's absolutely brilliant. Like, it's such this. You can. I mean, they obviously reference Laurie, but you can reference Halloween just using Michael Myers alone. But to use John Carpenter is never normally seen, even though you don't have Michael without John. So yes, he lets him go. Mr. Cox takes his first. He's all bandaged up, and he takes his first knock at the door. And what does he have in his hand but candy for the children who have come trick-or-treating? But these are not any ordinary children. These are some fucked up ghost children who have come for their revenge. Because, as we find in the conclusion of the comic that you will only see in comic strip form, is that Brian Cox's character was the bus driver from the school bus massacre.
Yeah,
and I
the last bits you see.
I hate the fact that I only found that out yesterday.
Well, when you see the last moments before it turns into the comic strip, you see the photo of the bus driver and all the kids taken outside the bus. And you see that's what he was burning on the fire, photos. Yeah. And so you don't actually see his death. And with all of the murders, you never see the actual murders take place.
No, you don't. The scene, so he counted 9 men at the, because he said like he couldn't quite tell if there was 9 men at the campfire with the werewolves, but had to only guess that there was because there was 9 women.
Yeah.
And he still framed it, but you never see them die.
No, nobody you see die. You see them get attacked, but you don't see them die. So when they did the end scene where they got all the kids got their revenge on the bus driver, Mr. Grieg or whatever his name was, it was done in comic book format to take the edge off.
Yeah.
But
to know that he got his comeuppance.
Yeah. And it was Sam got up and walked away because it was their revenge. Innocence.
Yeah.
It was, because they were the innocent and he had obviously, we had intention on harming them. But I found out that all of the kids on the bus for that original scene, and I don't know if they were the same kids that played the end scene, but they were all actually kids that were genuinely from a background with disabilities.
Right.
They actually used kids
that
were playing themselves, if that makes sense.
It does. I get what you mean.
Yeah, and apparently they had the best time. They interviewed some of these kids and they were like, I'm in a movie, I'm having the best day ever. And it was great to see how excited they were. I don't know if they had any idea what was going on, Mike. They really them. Just really were enjoying themselves. And and they said, well, if you have a dwarf, you hire a dwarf for the part. If you want an extra tall person, you hire an extra tall person. Why can't we hire kids with disabilities?
It's representation.
Which back in 2007, not done that often, let's be honest.
Not at all. Then we have the conclusion. So I can't remember if the comic book strip happens. I think that's how the movie ends.
Yes.
So the conclusion actually happens before we see. I just got way too excited to tell you all about Brian Cox's character. Even though if you haven't watched Trick or Treat, you really need to.
Yeah.
It is one of those. It's like horror 101.
Yes.
If you want to get into the horror community, you gotta know about Sam.
Yeah.
Massively. But yeah, the conclusion this is where everything ties up. And we get to see the little girl with her truck. She's walking away.
Yeah.
We know that she's safe. And the end part is where we come back to the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And we see Leslie Bibb throwing a fucking fit and ready to, take down all of Halloween. And her husband warning her, you should never blow out a lantern before midnight. And then we see Sam. And we know that it is Sam who killed Lizzie Bibb. Because I don't think you see him at the beginning. I think it's just a movement and a whoosh, but not an actual visual look of him.
But they do such a bloody good job with the timeline in this, because you will always see the other story actors in the background of of each story. So when miserable Leslie Bibb is there with her partner, you see when they do the pan around, you see the ghost kids exiting the house and walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're all in black because it doesn't focus. But if you look, you see them walking down the stairs. So the very tail end of the movie is the beginning of the movie. So that's why it circles round. And I find it so clever.
Yeah, because the girls from the werewolf scene are coming back from their night out, and they're all pissing their pants laughing and having the best time.
Yep.
And obviously that would make sense because there's things happening at the beginning of the night because Leslie's coming home at the end of the night. So when you see Leslie coming, I get it.
Yeah. And there's all little bits like when the kid that Principal Wilkins kills is dragging his bag of sweets up the road. You see him, he bumps into all the girls, the werewolf girls. Then one of the werewolf girls accidentally barges into Megabitch Bib, and then it's like you just see them like all dotted around in the background of all the stories. And I just think it's such an excellent use of characters. And I know that they managed to shoot this in a total of 40 days. This entire movie was shot in 40 days.
Yes, with 18 drafts of the script.
Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Because he wanted to, when he was editing it, he said he had absolute nightmare editing it because he wanted more horror.
Yeah. Oh my God, he had so much horror.
But he couldn't figure out how to intertwine it and keep the pace.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the end product is absolutely brilliant. I love how it all interlinks with each other, especially now that I know that Brian Cox is a bus driver and that's why them kids are there. I was always very confused by the end. I'm like, oh, okay. that's great. No pumpkins were harmed in the making of this movie. Every single one of them was made out of foam.
Yeah, I heard that. And because they said that after doing 1 or 2 pumpkins, you would get really, really bored. Plus, they couldn't keep them.
They rot very quickly once they've been carved out.
Yeah. My favourite tagline, because I think there was 3 or 4 taglines from this movie, but my favourite one was poison, drowning, claw or knife, so many ways to take a life.
I never saw that one.
And I was like, I don't know what country that tagline was in, but when I saw that one, I was like, I really like that one.
I always knew I wanted to use the follow the rules of Halloween because, like I said at the beginning of the YouTube channel I used to watch, you said obey the rules of Halloween. The references, I want to go through the references before we start wrapping this up. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Right, yep.
Song of the South. That she sang by someone. Yeah. Now this one is lost on us because this is not, well, it's lost on me. It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Something to do. It's a massive thing in America for Thanksgiving / Christmas, and I never been into Peanuts. I only know Snoopy because I had a pair of socks with him on when I was
Snoopy
little.
we got Snoopy, but we didn't get Charlie Brown.
No,
he was just a
bald child, which was weird.
Yeah, but we had Snoopy was a very big kind of pop culture presence in the UK. Like my auntie is obsessed with Snoopy.
Snoopy, but I can Woodstock,
yeah. Halloween, obviously.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yes.
The Thing.
The music, wasn't it? Yeah. They had on hold music and even went to this day when you talk to Michael Doherty, he says, I don't know how we got the
rights to it. The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Dead.
Really?
Lost Boys. And Nightbreed.
Really?
Yeah.
Those last 3 have shocked me somewhat.
Yeah. They are references held within Trick or Treat.
Yeah. I know Vincent Price is actually in the film.
What?
Yes. But it's a cameo in the respect of the
he's very much dead at this point.
Yes, it's playing on one of the TVs in the background, and I think it's House on Haunted Hill or one of Vincent's movies. It's playing on the background, and you see Vincent Price. So he actually got a tiny little cameo in the movie as well.
That's amazing. I reckon Vincent should just be in every movie, but that's just me and my personal take.
I've actually started watching that Bloodbath on Netflix with Vincent.
Oh, is it any good?
With Kenny Everett.
Is it funny? You know when it shows you like a snippet, it looks funny.
It's of its time. That's what I'm going to say. The 70s, it's of its time. If you could put yourself in that 70s comedy,
I think I could.
It's like a carry-on film with Vincent Price, basically. It's bizarre.
I'm not easily offended, and no. I understand. Like, I love old movies and can understand where we are when I'm watching this, and it's 2023, and you know times have moved on. I totally get that. But have you ever seen Witchfinder General? I
haven't. I have heard.
Please don't watch it. If we do Vincent Price, don't watch it. It's so bad. I can't describe how bad that movie is, and people love it. And it's honestly it's just a lot of dialogue.
Yeah,
a lot of dialogue, and not a lot going on.
Oh, right. I'll note that. Mental note. No.
Just don't watch it. I thoroughly enjoy Trick or Treat as a movie. I think Sam is a horror icon. And that's what he is. He's a horror icon now. Is absolutely amazing. The marketing wise on merchandise will always be a top favorite for people in the horror community. I don't have a lot. I have a little, Sam, and I had to be talked into getting that because I'm one of these people who like hesitate buys and then go, yeah, then I just go over the top. I have a beautiful pin that was designed by Creature from the Black Tattoo, who was here. I have the Sam pin. I could not have like. I wanted the Creature and can't think of her name but her, and then I wanted Sam, and it's massive.
Is it really?
It's really, it's a really good size for a pin.
I'm gonna bully him on Saturday. I'll drop Rob off for his tattoo, and I'll say, "Excuse me, here, you, Mister.
Where's my pin?
Where I need to see this with my eyes."
I mean, now. I could show you it, but you can see it of him too.
Yeah. And then I'll steal it and run away and go, ha ha.
Honestly, it is a beautiful pin. Anything more before we wrap up?
Just a couple of little things. I mean, if we go back to the design of the werewolves in the werewolf scene, they said that other than ginger snaps, and in the Howling, I think there was a werewolf queen. There was no female werewolves in movies at that point. So the Howling was 1980, I think, or 1980. It was the early 80s. So you had the werewolf queen in that. And Ginger Snaps was late 90s, early 2000s. So
yeah, that's part of that that spike in teen horror.
Yeah.
Like round about the H2Os, and isn't that what made that shit up on now?
Yeah,
I've never seen Ginger Snaps. That's only because I've never really had like an infinite of love for werewolf movies until we started doing this.
Well, Catherine Isabel, obviously everybody knows her as American Mary, but if they don't know her as anything else, highly recommend go watch the first Ginger Snaps. You don't have to watch all 3 or 4, however many there are, but go watch the first one. It has Elizabeth Perkins in it as well, who played Beverly Marsh in the It TV show with Tim Curry. I watched it. I had insomnia one night and I was flicking channels as you do, and I watched it and it was on and I watched it and I thought, my God, I really liked that. But I don't know whether it was delirium at the time. So I gave it a couple of months, found it, watched it again, loved it just as much. So
still the same. I worked with the makeup artist's sister.
Yeah, it's honestly
just saying.
A lot of boys fell in love and women fell in love, and
I don't understand why it didn't find me, because the aesthetics of it is very much of my taste at that time. It's The Craft all over again,
basically, with werewolves. And no witchcraft, but
you know what I mean, that kind of look, like we all had the look because we'd seen The Craft, and I don't understand how that never fell into my wheelhouse.
But so they hadn't really have had that much female presence. So when Michael said, right, okay, we're gonna have some like a gang of female werewolves in the thing, don't know how they came about speaking to Patrick Tatopoulos, but they did. And I'm sure that's how you say his name. So if it isn't...
It is Patrick Totopoulos.
I shall call him Patrick Westmore.
Which you did today.
Yes. Mr. Westmore. If you're not familiar, Patrick Totopoulos designed all the werewolves digitally. He was a digital designer, isn't he? Or a pen and paper designer.
He's a concept artist.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the words. He did all the werewolves for Underworld. So
and that gave him right to judge a makeup artist show. Just saying, just putting that out there. Just
not that he was actually married to or dating said Mackenzie Westmore, but you know, nepotism. Yeah, he designed them, and I actually showed Sammy some of the pictures, the concept art. Now I will say, beautiful. The guy could draw because stunning.
Concept design wise, like, don't get us wrong, I totally get his place on Face Off. I did get it, because concept design is the important. That's, you don't have the final look without that.
Yeah,
you don't, because we all know, if any artist knows, I'm no artist, but I can kind of understand you have to have an idea in your head, otherwise it just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
But I hated the fact that he used to pick on the makeup, and I was like, you don't fucking, this is not your place. This is not, you should look at the fact of the concept art and then look at the final product and judge that. You shouldn't be allowed to go, well, them edges and me. Fuck off. Rant over.
But I will say, what day is it today? Today is Monday the 30th. So
yeah,
2 days ago, Saturday, I actually have met. This is fucking weird when I'm saying it. Like on Saturday the 28th, I met V. Neil, Tom Savini, and Greg Nicotero. Because I'm not actually here.
No. How was
Probably
it?
Great. I'll tell you when I get back. But yeah, I technically at that point in time when you're seeing this, I've met all three of them at Spooky Empire. But technically,
I am not doing the whole time travel shit. I am not doing the whole time travel shit. But we are in the future. No, we're in the past.
We're in the past, massively.
Massively.
Danielle goes to America over Halloween because Christmas. And we're buggering off to America for 2 weeks. So hence why we've recorded this in the past.
In the past, for you to have in the future.
Yeah.
In the future. And I am still stuck here. But I've had my holidays this year. I've had more than enough holidays this year. So
my first one in 4 years.
Oh my God, get out the country.
I can't him wait, I'll tell you that much. Well, I'll be halfway through it right now, because my next convention next weekend, if I'm going by the time travel, I'll be meeting Kyle Gass from Tenacious D.
She just lives a life, doesn't she? She lives it. And then a few weeks later, for Love of Horror.
Oh yeah, as of technically when this goes out on the 30th, For the Love of Horror goes out. It starts, is it the 11th, 12th? I think it's
we're there on the 12th
of November. Quinn Lord tying it in. Mr. Little Sam himself will be at For the Love of Horror.
It's going to be very exciting.
I'm going to be dead because we land on Thursday. We sit up on Friday, and then the show starts Saturday, Sunday. So,
ouch. I'm so glad I'm there on the Sunday, so because you'll be so past annoyed that you will.
You say that, but we have a lovely guest working with us on the Sunday, which is Mr. Creature himself. He'll be at our booth working. I use that term lightly because him and Rob will be messing about for probably the entire day. So Danielle will be doing all the work, but yeah,
you'll be fine, man. I'll be there to cheer you up and bring
I'll be just lying on the floor. Just come and feed me things. Throw things.
I'll bring you cake. It's all good. So yeah, any more? Or are we good?
Well, I can go through Sam's abilities, but that's about it, really.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, basically, it's said that Sam has the ability of immortality and reanimation, which, when he dies, technically when he gets shot by Mr. Krieg, he comes back.
Well, He is a supernatural being, is what I thought, given that he had a fucking pumpkin head.
He has the power of necromancy, which we know about bringing those
With
kids
the-
back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
He can teleport. So he has a power to disappear
Well, that makes
and
a
reappear.
lot of fucking sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
All makes sense when you watch it.
He also has, now bear with me on the pronunciation of this one, phobiokinesis or phobikinesis, which is where he has mastered the ability to manipulate the fears of others to play with his victims' minds.
Well, I want that.
It'd make life a lot easier, wouldn't
How do you get that?
it? He has the power of regeneration, which obviously we know because his hand grows,
Yeah.
reattaches.
But it comes hand in hand with the able to, come back from the dead, kind of, after being shot
Pretty
in the
much.
face.
For a tiny, tiny little 8-year-old boy, because that's how old Quinn Lord was at the time when he played him, he has supernatural strength.
Yeah, he does not kick the shit out of Brian Cox's mind.
They also say, now I'm not sure on this one, I'll leave this one's open to interpretation. They say he's got the power of possession because they say that he possessed Rhonda when she was in the lift going up. They say that
he was the one who stopped her from doing anything, because her nature would have been to open that door.
Yeah, so he possessed her to press the button and go up, basically.
Yeah, and go up. That's what they said. But that, I reckon, that takes away from her actual personal, like, how she is as a person.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit on the fence with that one. They reckon he's got omnipotence, so he can be everywhere all at once at any time, which, if you think about it from the sense of Samhain Halloween itself, it is everywhere and anywhere. It's not just one thing, one place, one person.
And it's happening tomorrow.
It is. Shape-shifting, they think that he can change his appearance.
I don't like that.
I don't know about that because you don't see it in the movie. So as relation to the movie, I'm not sure on that one. Obviously, he's magic. They just put magic as this one. Because he's got thousands of years worth of knowledge. They're saying that he can use that to his advantage.
Because he's Halloween. He's the whole encompassing Halloween, so of course.
And the last one is clairvoyance. They think he's got countless psychic abilities that he can use to his advantage. So when he can turn like jack-o'-lanterns on, and he can there's things he does, like open doors, like telekinesis as well, and like, it all wraps into each other to say that he has the power to do whatever he bloody well wants, basically.
Yeah.
He can go against gravity, he can bend the laws of physics to his will, because he's not one person, he's Halloween.
He is the whole everything in, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just the whole of Halloween. Well,
yes,
that was so much fun. Quite honestly, I could spin yarn on all night about how brilliant this character actually is in respect to horror icons, because I have a thing about the horror icon. Like, I am not the biggest fan of Art the Clown in his films, but he is the quintessential look of a horror icon. I think, personally.
I have this same conversation. Hate the movies. Mm-hmm. His kills are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only bit of the Terrifier movies I like, watching his kills. I couldn't give a flying fig about the rest of the characters.
No.
Pointless. Boring.
I love the look. I think the look is fantastic. You're right, the kills are fucking very well thought out.
They are fucking nuts. But like, he is now, I don't think he should have the same notoriety as you would give to Freddy, Jason, Michael, because the films themselves were bloody good films. They were all well thought out, well scripted.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, Art the Clown doesn't fit, in my opinion, because I don't like the movies.
I'm just looking as an aesthetic point of view, standing up against the big hitters. He could stand there with them and have that horror icon look.
I completely agree. As for the boogeyman himself, the character, 100%, I think it's fantastic. I just think that Damien Leone doesn't write films that can stand up to the character.
No. That character deserves a lot more than what he's being given, because that could be such a fucking franchise. But that is a whole other podcast. I'm just saying Sam kind of fits into that wheelhouse for me when you're looking at the aesthetic of a horror icon.
Yeah, no, I Jason, Freddy, Michael, Pinhead, Chucky, Tiffany, Sam, they all sit there quite comfortably.
Yeah.
So
and for being a very small little child, just fits slots in there lovely.
And just one movie. One
movie back nearly 16 years ago, and I only know the math that quick because that's how long I've been with my husband. Otherwise I'd be sitting going, where's my calculator? Yes, just one movie.
That's a hell of a job.
That is. And that is our trick or treat episode.
Yay.
Woo. What an episode. Well, I can't tell you what next week's episode is going to be, because I generally don't know at this point.
No, because we're very confused.
We are, honestly. You've seen nothing with us trying to work out how to do this, but we've done it. We will get back to you as soon as I will probably be shouting it out in the live chat as this is going on of what that episode will be. But if you want to catch us, you can find us on YouTube. We are live on a Monday at 7:00, unless you caught the Friday the 13th episode, which went up on Friday the 13th. Thank you, Michael.
Did you see what we did there? Did you?
Gotcha. And also, we are on iTunes and Spotify. If you could give us the likes, give us the review, anything, just to be able to get the algorithm moving. The heart. I can never do that. That looked like an absolute numpty. The hearts and the reviews and the likes and the subscribes, just to be able to get the algorithm moving so other monster fans can find us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our details are where, Dan? Where are they? Down there. Right down there. And we thank you, as always, for joining.
I don't know. No.
No.
I'm delirious.
Thank you, as always, for joining us. And instead of my usual, we will just say Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. Bye.